Good evening, it's just golden 6 o'clock on Saturday the 8th of October, and welcome to our Saturday evening news, coming to you live from the heart of Wyke, Regis. And in the news this week, Dorset Wildlife Trust has this week said it's extremely worried about recent announcements made by the government that pose serious threats to nature, impact on climate change, food security, and is asking members, supporters and the wider public to defend nature by contacting their local MP and local councillors to voice concerns. Last week, the government announced plans to introduce a new planning and infrastructure bill, as well as investment zones as part of the growth plan, which will threaten to weaken vital protections for habitats and wildlife. They also proposed lifting the ban on fracking in England, despite there has been no evidence that fracking is safe. And also launching a review of the long-awaited environmental land management schemes, which were designed to reward farmers for restoring nature, preventing pollution from entering rivers and climate-proofing their businesses. And announced progress on the retained EU law bill, threatening to revoke hundreds of laws that protect wild places and ensure standards of water quality, pollution and the use of pesticides. Now, these proposals have already caused outrage among environmental and conservation charities and politicians of all political persuasions, farmers, campaigners and members of the public, many of whom are concerned that the government is not tackling the nature and climate crisis with the urgency required. Now, Brian Blease, who's the Chief Executive of Dorset Wildlife Trust, has called on the public to contact their elected representatives and tell them just how concerned they are about these dangerous plans, and to let our leaders know that such deregulation is unacceptable. Now, for more information on these proposals and some letter templates you can use if you are likewise concerned about this, you can go to dorsetwildlifetrust.org/defend nature. That's dorsetwildlifetrust.org/defend nature, and there are letters there you can download to send off to your local councillors and MPs, etc. Now, as part of its community programme, with a commitment to support local Dorset charities and causes, Dorset Tea has teamed up with Age UK to provide funding and support for a new drop-in tea club initiative to help reach and support the local elderly community on a weekly basis. With the support of Dorset Tea, the charity will now be able to replicate the fantastic group that they already run down in Weymouth, where they've seen great demand for the service, providing funding and, of course, tea to set up a weekly tea club. This will start in November, and we'll let you have more details when that starts. And it will be at the Salvation Army. As I say, we will confirm the details near the time. Age UK Dorset and Dorset Tea held a cream tea event this week on Thursday to celebrate this wonderful partnership. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world reopened, Age UK launched a Dorchester Coffee Club held every Thursday at the YMCA in Dorchester from 10:30 to 12 p.m. as a safe place for people to come weekly and enjoy a warm drink and a warm welcome. This proved extremely popular, helping to tackle loneliness and isolation. Now, Rachel Weiss from Age UK North, South and West Dorset said, following the COVID-19 pandemic, many older people in our communities felt isolated and lonely. These groups are so important for tackling loneliness, but also where people can go to find the support they need. The funding will help us to set up further groups, creating a sociable environment for people to get together and chat, as well as providing access to local services, games and more. Now, in homage to Dorset Tea, the new tea club will provide the same wonderful warm atmosphere with plenty of tea and coffee, of course, and lots of laughs. As well as creating a sociable environment for people to get together and chat, Age UK work with other services in the community who come to present what is available in the local area and to give information. They have been very lucky to have had great guest speakers from Citizens Advice, the Fire Service and the police recently. Now, in addition to the wonderful opportunity for attendees to learn about what's available in the area and to get information they need, they focus on having fun and enjoying one another's companies, with regular game sessions including skittles and darts, hosting quizzes, sing-alongs and musical bingo, which is always well received. Now, if you want more information about Age Concern in our area, the website is ageuk.org.uk North South West Dorset. So that's ageuk.org.uk /North South West Dorset. And we will tell you more about that tea club when it starts in November. Now, Dorset police officers investigating a heritage crime involving damage to the door of the historic chapel in West Dorset are appealing for anyone with information to come forward. It was reported that damage was caused to the door and lock at St Catherine's Chapel in Abbotsbury sometime on Saturday the 24th of September. It is believed the damage was caused in an attempt to gain entry to the Grade 1 listed 14th century chapel. Police Community Support Officer Chris Mullins of Dorset Police's Rural Crime said, "We take reports of heritage crime very seriously, and this incident has involved damage to a historic and much loved building. Now anyone with information is asked to contact Dorset Police on 101, or alternatively, if they've got information that they wish to pass on anonymously, via the Crime Stoppers charity on 0800 555 111. Now, staying with Dorset Police have welcomed the National Police and Crime Commission's announcement that police forces will now attend all home burglaries. The force recognises how deeply traumatic burglary can be, and is one of the police forces that already has a policy in place where an officer will attend an incident where your house is broken into. Dwelling burglary offences in Dorset are currently at an all-time low, with a decrease of 10.2% in 2021-22 compared to figures in the previous year. Assistant Chief Constable Rachel Farrell said, "I understand how upsetting it is to have your home burgled and how distressing that is for victims. Our intent is always to attend home burglaries, and where there are possible forensic opportunities, we will automatically arrange a visit from a crime scene investigator, a CSI. We have relatively low levels of home burglaries in Dorset. However, given the rise in cost of living, we know that austerity can be a driver for a rise in acquisitive crimes, and we fully recognise the significant impact that these offences can have on our communities. We remain committed to working with our officers, partners and other agencies to improve standards and create a safer county for everyone." For other burglary types, such as sheds, detached garages and outbuildings, a decision about whether to attend an incident is based on the threat and risk present, the vulnerability of the victim and the opportunity to catch offenders, ensuring the force responds and allocates the correct resources in a timely manner. Now, a breadth of artistic talent in West Dorset got together following the launch of the Dorset Community Mental Health Artists exhibition at Dorsetshire Hall. And it's been held a great success by MP Chris Loader. And you can see Chris there with the High Sheriff and the Mayor of Weymouth, I think Mayor of Dorchester in the picture. The exhibition launched on Saturday the 24th of September and showcases the artwork created by members of the Dorset Community Mental Health Group. The event was also attended by the High Sheriff, the Mayor of Dorchester, the Mayor of Weymouth and many others, and has been organised to bring artists out of their shell and encourage them to publicly exhibit their work to build their confidence. Mr. Loader said, "This is a very meaningful initiative to help creative people who may otherwise lack the confidence to show off their talents and great skills." And their special thanks go to Johnny De Silva for organising that event. Now, the Dorchester Car Boot Fund, or the Dorchester Market Car Boot Fund, is now open for applications from community and voluntary organisations working in and around Dorchester. The fund comes from the weekly car boot sales held in Dorchester and will be distributed to local community and voluntary organisations in and around the town to benefit projects operating within or supporting residents living in the area. In 2020, over £13,000 was awarded to local community and voluntary organisations from in and around Dorchester. The fund is jointly administered by Dorset Council and Dorchester Town Council. Among the organisations who received funding in 2020 were Bradford Peveril Village Hall, who got £1,000 towards the replacement of their roof, Home Start West Dorset, who received £1,500 towards their running costs, and Dorchester Blind Association towards volunteer expenses and transport costs for their home support service. An application form and additional guidance can be found on the Dorset Council website at dorsetcouncil.gov.uk and search then for Dorchester Market Car Boot Fund. So that's Dorset Council website and search for Dorchester Market Car Boot Fund. If you want a hard copy application form, you can collect it from Dorchester Town Council at 19 North Square, Dorchester. For further information and guidance, please contact Fiona Thomas on 01305 838 459 or email communities@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. Now, due to the planned, or the actual strike, to say it was planned, it is actual, it's happening today, or been happening today, South West Railway's customers are urged only to travel by rail if absolutely necessary this weekend. South West Railways has run a severely reduced service today that operated between 7:15 this morning and will operate up to 6:30, so just for a little while longer, with significant parts of the network closed entirely. Tomorrow, Sunday the 9th of October, will also be significantly impacted by the strike, and trains across the network will start much later than usual. Now, due to the planned engineering works, no services will run between Basingstoke and Southampton on SWR, and therefore they're urging customers only to try to travel by rail over the weekend at all if absolutely necessary. So no trains today just about, and severely affected tomorrow, Sunday the 9th of October. Now, a public meeting regarding flooding concerns was held at the Park Community Centre in Weymouth yesterday evening. The gathering was called to seek assurances that sufficient measures are in place to prevent flooding in what is classified as a high-risk flood zone in the town. Question marks have been raised over whether the sewerage system in the Park District can cope with a substantial amount of rainfall, with residents claiming a number of the gullies in the area have been blocked and unfixed despite being reported. The last major flood emergency was in July 2012, which came after a prolonged period of heavy rain. It forced some people to be evacuated from their homes, while others were placed on standby with sandbags as water levels rose. Topics discussed at the meeting included the responsibility boundaries for maintenance of the drainage system in the district, confirmation of the cleaning schedule of road drains, an assessment of the rest of the district following previous work in Hardwick Street, confirm responsibility of the pumping station and sluice gates in the area, and whether sanitiser is used to clear the drains, as well as if there is enough capacity in waste treatment to not pollute the local environment. The meeting was attended by David Martin and John Hall from Wessex Water, Dawn Heath from Dorset Highways, Esmery Steenkamp, a coastal risk manager from Dorset Council, Brian Richards, a flood risk manager from the council, and councillors John Orell and Ken Watley. And the meeting was led by Kaz Dennett. A special selection of concerned members of the Park District community attended the meeting. Now, news this week has revealed that the West of England is set to receive a share of £2.1 million to boost tree cover in local authorities across the UK. The West of England is one of just 6 local initiatives across the UK to receive a major cash boost to increase tree cover across the area. It will receive almost £260,000 from the Woodland Trust Emergency Tree Fund, a pot of cash awarded in grants to local authorities across the country to plant trees and create green spaces. The funding is part of an overall £2.1 million package of support from the Amazon's Right Now Climate Fund. The Enduring Roots and New Shoots project, which covers the West of England, aims to plant more than 24,000 native trees, increasing green space and boosting local ecosystems. The collective vision is to double tree cover. Dr. Darren Moorcroft of the Woodland Trust said the funding will help local authorities overcome barriers which prevent them from taking action through using trees and woods to help address the twin threats of climate change and biodiversity loss. The Woodland Trust Emergency Tree Fund is one of the first projects in the UK receiving support through Amazon's $100 million Right Now Climate Fund, with €20 million committed to projects across the UK and Europe. The fund has been set up to conserve, restore and improve forests, wetlands, grasslands, protecting wildlife habitats, biodiversity and quality of life for communities. Now, Dorset Council has this week announced round 4 of its projects fund, and that this will open next month. The project and event fund is to help with the cost of living challenges for arts, museums, heritage, community, physical activity and play activities. Dorset Council Project Fund can help you to make a difference to people living in your communities. Grants from £1,000 to £5,000 are available to groups who support the council to meet its core priorities. Round 4 of the Community and Cultural Project Fund will open at 9 o'clock on Friday the 4th of November. In addition to supporting the themes in round 3, the next round will prioritise grants to applicants that address and support the cost of living challenge for vulnerable communities and those most in need in the Dorset Council area. The types of cost of living projects that can be considered will focus on community warm spaces, especially in rural areas, community food projects including lunch clubs and dinner clubs, food banks, low-level mental health projects. Now, for more information and information on the criteria and how to apply, and if you want support with your application, visit www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/community-and-culture and culture-project-fund. It's quite long, so I suggest you go to the Dorset Council website and search for Community Culture Project Fund, and that should hopefully get you there. Now, Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue is urging people to take simple steps to protect themselves from accidental fires and carbon monoxide poisoning as they look to keep warm to cut energy this winter. The National Fire Chiefs Council has launched Stay Fire Safe in response to concerns that people will turn to alternative ways of heating and lighting their homes in a bid to save money. Alongside this, Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue has its own Save Safely campaign, which offers advice on where savings can be a false economy and how to reduce the risk when doing things differently. There is also signposting to financial support and a range of energy saving tips. Prevention Delivery Manager Ian Hopkins said, "The most important thing that people can do this winter is make sure they have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms. We offer a free Safe and Well visit, which includes fitting these devices where they are needed, so there's no cost to the individual." He added, "We know that the rising cost of living is a huge concern to so many people within our community, and we are doing all we can to support them with saving safely this winter." Now, you can get information on the Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue website at www.dwfire.org.uk/save-safely. And finally, in our headlines tonight, an opening date has been announced for one of the large stores moving to the Weymouth Gateway retail development. Homewell retailer Dunelm is opening the doors to its new Weymouth store on Thursday, November the 17th. The company say its 30,000 square feet site will provide Weymouth with an all-new shopping experience, as well as 42 new jobs for the area. Recently, a new McDonald's restaurant and a Costa Coffee outlet opened at the Weymouth Gateway site. It's also expected that B&M home stores will also be opening soon at the location, but there isn't a date as yet. The Dunelm store will be home to a decorating department, made-to-measure window treatments, a furniture showroom, plus a larger Pauser kitchen cafe. Dunelm was founded in 1979 as a Leicester market stall business, selling ready-made curtains, and has been making made-to-measure curtains and blinds in Leicestershire for more than 20 years. Since opening its first store in 1984, the company has expanded across the country and now has 175 stores. Well, that's the end of our headlines this evening. Now, we mentioned last week that tomorrow sees the annual beach motocross event organised by Weymouth Lions taking place on Weymouth Beach. So I thought I would have a look this evening at what people can expect tomorrow. The Perfect Motocross Club, in liaison with Weymouth Lions Club, staged the Weymouth Beach Motocross 2022, an event on Weymouth Town Beach tomorrow, Sunday the 9th of October. Riders from all four corners of the UK compete in junior, senior and expert classes. And the first race starts at 1 p.m.
with practice races on the beach from 12 noon. One local rider said he had been racing since he was a teenager and it was the only circuit where he could max out his bike. The popular beach motocross event returns this weekend. Here's all you need to know about it and the up and coming temporary beach closures to enable the racing to happen. It's a joint event organised by Weymouth and Portland Lions Club together with the Purbeck Motocross. So please be aware that the Weymouth Beach will be closed throughout the weekend until 8 p.m. on Sunday the 9th of October between the pavilion end and the Jubilee clock. This is to ensure public safety during the construction of the course and during the race itself. Access to the remainder of the beach will be unaffected and is available to be used for permitted activities, including the exercising of dogs. The pavilion car park will also be closed and visitors are advised to use other car parks or alternative methods of travel to the event. The main racing starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday when riders will race over humps and bumps created on the beach, with bikes entering the sands from 12 p.m. for the practice laps. Now, Julie Story, who's Lions president, said Weymouth Beach Motocross is a brilliant event for all the family and I urge as many people as possible to come along to see and hear this spectacular event. We would also like to thank all those businesses that have supported this event through advertising. Weymouth Town Council for supporting the event again this year, and We Are Weymouth for being the headline sponsor. Now, Councillor Anne Weaving, who is the Mayor of Weymouth, said, I'm greatly looking forward to attending Weymouth Beach Motocross on Sunday. This fantastic local event has been running for many years and helps us to raise much needed funds for the Weymouth and Portland Lions Club. The event is always well supported by residents and visitors. I hope to see many people lining the seafront once again this year to cheer on the riders. Let's now have a look at some of the frills and spills of the Weymouth Beach Motocross.
There we go, that's the Weymouth Beach Motocross. Tomorrow, practice laps starting at 12 noon and the race proper at 1 p.m. Let's hope it's a nice day tomorrow, so lots of people can go down and watch and join in with the fun there on Weymouth seafront. Now, moving on, Christmas is fast approaching. Oh yes, it is. I'm afraid that if you thought it's quite a way off, it must be getting round about sort of 10 to 12 weeks time. It'll soon come round, won't it? And Christmas is traditionally the time for pantos and pantomimes, and the latest panto from Weymouth Pavilion has had its launch event this week, with some of the stars telling the local media what's in store. So we thought we would put a sneak preview together for you now to see what's in store at the Weymouth Panto this Christmas.
After the huge success of Weymouth Pavilion's Easter Panto, the Wizard of Oz, Enchanted Entertainment are back this Christmas and planning an even more spectacular show with one of the most popular pantomimes of them all, Sleeping Beauty. Enchanted Entertainment will be bringing 34 spellbinding performances of Sleeping Beauty to Weymouth Pavilion from the 10th of December to the 2nd of January, And for the first time ever, the Panto will feature amazing 3D, especially designed for children in the audience. Producer Guy Pascal has said, "What an amazing pantomime Sleeping Beauty is going to be this Christmas at Weymouth Pavilion. For this year's show, we've been working on a breathtaking 3D projection sequence to add some extra magic to an already dazzling panto. Audiences are also in for a real treat with the return of X Factor's Stevie Ritchie, who will be playing the Jester alongside hilarious panto funny man Chris Casserly as the Dame. We also have the winner of our recent search for a local star, Weymouth's very own Charlotte Allen, who will be playing the lead role of Princess Aurora." Assembled a stellar cast and are planning some spectacular pantomime magics to ensure Sleeping Beauty will be brilliant family panto with plenty of audience participation, fantastic sets and costumes, and of course jokes galore for all the family. Tickets for Sleeping Beauty are on sale now and already selling fast. To book seats, call the Weymouth Pavilion box office on 01305 783 225. Or you can book them online on the Pavilion website. Let's look forward to Panto in Weymouth this Christmas.
Hi there guys, this is Stevie Ritchie here with the cast of Sleeping Beauty here at the Weymouth Pavilion. Oh yes, we can't wait to see you all here at Christmas. Get your tickets now!
Yay! There we go, that's the cast of this year's pantomime at Weymouth Pavilion there, starting in December, but tickets are on sale now and they are going fast, so don't leave it too long if you want to get off to Panto this year. Now it's time in the programme to go over to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, Thor: Love and Thunder was released on DVD, Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD. Thor: Love and Thunder is the 29th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and is the fourth Thor film, a first for the MCU. The film stars Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson and Christian Bale and revolves around Thor trying to find meaning in his life after the events of Avengers Endgame, only to spring into action when Gorr the God Butcher begins targeting gods, and Thor's ex-girlfriend becomes the mighty Thor. The film was once again directed by Taika Waititi, who experienced massive success after previously directing 2017's Thor Ragnarok. I previously reviewed the film back in July, where I gave it a very weak 3 stars out of 5. As I found that the script, acting and visual effects were a big disappointment despite the fact that the directing and soundtrack is once again top-notch. This weekend marks the cinematic release of David O. Russell's new film Amsterdam. The film stars Christian Bale, Margot Robbie and John David Washington as a trio of friends who work as a doctor, nurse and lawyer respectively, who become the prime suspects in the murder of US Senator Bill Meekins in the 1930s. The film also stars many prominent actors such as Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Saldana, Taylor Swift, Rami Malek and Robert De Niro. David O. Russell is most famous for directing films such as American Hustle and Joy. The film also marks his first film since Joy, presumably due to numerous controversies including creating a hostile work environment. The film has received mostly negative reviews from critics, which suggest that its dazzling appearance is all there is to the film. The film is in cinemas this weekend. This week, the trailer for the action film Violent Night was released. The film is a Christmas black comedy action film and stars Stranger Things and Black Widow actor David Harbour as Santa Claus. The film's plot revolves around a group of mercenaries attacking the estate of a wealthy family on Christmas Eve, and Santa steps in to save the day. The film is written by the writers of the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action films and comes from the producers of films such as John Wick, Nobody and Bullet Train. As demonstrated by the very clear John Wick aspect to the film, with Santa playing the John Wick role. Violent Night is expected in UK cinemas on December 2nd, which I am very excited for. Next week marks the release of DC League of Super Pets on home video. DC League of Super Pets revolves around Superman's pet dog Krypto and shelter dog Ace, working together with other superpowered animals to save the Justice League from Lex Luthor and a superpowered evil guinea pig. The film stars Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart as Krypto and Ace respectively, reuniting after their previous successful collaborations on the film Central Intelligence as well as the Jumanji films. The film also stars John Krasinski as Superman and Keanu Reeves as Batman. The film received mostly positive reviews from critics who labelled it a fun family film. I will attempt to do a review of it in next week's show. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will talk about Halloween Ends, the final film in the Halloween sequel trilogy, as well as Marvel Studios' Werewolf by Night. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for this week's film review and preview. Now it's the time in the programme to go over to the Met Office for our weather forecast. And our national weather forecaster this week is Annie Shuttleworth.
Hello. Most of us can expect some sunshine this weekend, but it's unlikely to last all weekend as we've still... On Saturday evening, we'll continue to see a lot of dry weather across the country, clear spells developing across Wales and much of England. Cloud will thicken though across Northern Ireland and Scotland, and notice this band of heavy rain arriving by Sunday morning into the northwest. Under the clear spells, another relatively chilly night, but it won't be quite as cold as Friday night. Now the winds will start to pick up through Sunday morning. We could see gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour affecting western coasts of Scotland. And with that band of heavy rain, it will make for some difficult travelling conditions through Sunday across Northern Ireland and much of Scotland all the way through into the afternoon. Behind that though, it will turn much clearer across the Western Isles into Sunday afternoon. But ahead of that, still plenty of fine weather through Sunday. Plenty of sunny spells, not quite as sunny as Saturday, but still feeling relatively warm in any sunshine, with temperatures again around average for the time of year. On Sunday evening, that rain will spread into parts of North Wales and northern England. Behind that, we'll see clearer spells developing, which may allow some of us to take a look at October's full moon, the Hunter's Moon. You can find plenty more details on your forecast by taking a look at our social media channels.
Thank you very much there, Annie, for the national weather forecast this weekend. What does the weather hold for us over the weekend and for the week ahead? Here we go. So we have got some rain possibly on Monday and towards the end of the week. Still relatively mild and some sunny spells, so a little bit changeable. So not too bad, and that temperature not really dipping too much at the moment, although it is quite chilly during the night at the current time. So what have we got coming up in our What's On slot today? Well, looking at Weymouth Pavilion, they've got the on the 10th of October classic ballet Swan Lake. On the 11th of October, 60s Gold. 14th of October, ABBA-mania. 16th of October, one of my favourites, King of Pop starring Navi. That's the Michael Jackson tribute. 21st to 22nd of October, Weymouth Drama Club presents Around the World in 80 Days. Now that sounds Really, really something to look forward to there. And the 29th of October, Legends of American Country. Now you can contact the box office on 01305 783 225 or online at weymouthpavilion.com. Moving to the No Thought, they have some Halloween fun for the family from the 22nd to the 30th of October. More details available of what will be happening over that period on their website. Turning to Arts Reach. All their details, of course, on the Arts Reach website, www.artsreach.co.uk. Last week we played you the trailer for Salage Deux, or Salacious, by Kate Short and Rupert Gillett, two outstanding cellists and singers who are joining forces to express their take on the world of jazz, Latin and originals, and with a special autumn tour. They've got a show on tonight, but they are on tomorrow night, Sunday the 9th, at Sanford Orcus Village Hall at 7:30. If you fancy a little trip up there to Sanford Orcus, go onto the Arts Reach website and see if you can get some tickets for that. Now, turning to other things happening, church services in Wyke Regis this weekend, 8 o'clock and 9:30 at All Saints Church, Wyke Regis, with the 9:30 service being live streamed, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church, Lanehouse. Our usual online quiz is on shortly this evening, 7:30 p.m. Everyone's welcome to join that. And if you fancy a live in-person quiz, you've got just a few minutes to get yourself up to the Memorial Hall at Wyke Regis, where 7 o'clock the quiz starts there. So I shall be rushing my way up there very, very shortly to be the quiz master for that this evening. We are also running our October episode of A Year Gardening with Clive Gray tomorrow, Sunday at 4 p.m. for the first time, and repeated Friday at 7 p.m. Just a quick look at traffic and travel. Of course, we've got all the problems with the trains this weekend with the strike today and the knock-on effects of the strike and the engineering works tomorrow, Sunday. Basically, excuse me, it's not worth travelling by train this weekend. Other things happening on the roads, of course, the beach motocross will affect the traffic around Weymouth tomorrow. Lots of extra people in the town, and there's still works going on the town bridge, which is affecting travel. In fact, I was driving past the Weymouth town centre twice earlier today, and there were queues to get into the town centre, quite long queues, so to be avoided if you can. Lots of work happening on Abbotsbury Road this week with traffic lights, and also on Preston Road by the Sea Life Centre, so you can expect a possibility of hold-ups in those two locations. Now that brings us to the end of this week's programme. Of course, if you've got any news, any events, any fundraising activities on that you want to share with us to let people know about, do drop us an email at news@wykeregis.tv, and we'll be happy to share that with people next week in next week's programme. So we will be back 6 p.m. next Saturday, but just before we finish tonight, I've got a government public information film that we've been asked to share with people, which is trying to encourage pregnant and nursing mothers to get their COVID jabs this winter and assuring people that they are safe. So we'll finish with that before the final credits, and I look forward to being back with you at 6 o'clock next Saturday. Good night.
We've seen that pregnant women are more likely to get seriously ill if they catch COVID, so we're encouraging them to get vaccinated. Over the last months and years of the pandemic, we've been gathering data from here in the UK and around the world that have shown COVID vaccines are effective for pregnant women. Many doctors and midwives agree that it's the best way to protect you and your baby. We also now have lots of information that has looked at the outcomes of pregnancies after vaccinations, showing that the vaccine is safe at any stage of pregnancy if you're breastfeeding or hoping to start a family in the future. Pregnant women can get an autumn booster dose against COVID and an annual flu vaccine to increase protection over the winter. Along with the NHS, our advice on this is very clear. If you're pregnant, please get vaccinated as soon as you can.